Hello everyone, here's my Mamod SR1a steamroller that I received from a friend of mine that I've known since the late 80s. He had this steam roller since he was little, from the early 70s, maybe the late 60s, when him and his family lived in the UK and his grandfather bought this steamroller for him. It was well played and then damaged and then pieces lost. For example, it was missing the whistle assembly completely and it was missing the scuttle, right? So this is a replacement part from a UK part store, and I got this scuttle from eBay, which is the denatured alcohol spirits burner. I picked one that kind of like fits the, I guess you could say, patina of the steamroller. I could have bought a new one that took bricks, but I wanted to make sure to get the spirits one, and of course one that didn't look brand new, right? The whistle, actually, after being used quite a bit, is kind of darkened, and so you can't really tell that it's been replaced for the most part. Also, I mentioned that it was damaged. Lots of geometry problems, bending of this area right here. The back, if I go here, you can see that I have screws here. These should be rivets, which I have on the way ordered. Also, since this was bent back, the two copper rivets that go right here, that go into the tank, were compromised and leaking. I also have screws in here temporarily with a lot of sealant because water was leaking and causing the little engine not to steam up. The next thing that I have going on here is at the bottom. Let's see if I can move this down a little bit. I have three pistons. One comes from my Mamod MM1. One is what came off of this guy, and then the middle one right here is a replacement. Now if you look at the replacement, it was ordered as a SR1a replacement, but the cylinder is bigger and heavier, and I did not like that. So why did I get a replacement? Well, I got a replacement because part of the bend problem was this guy right here had a kink in it, right? Also, I've discovered that the cylinder is kind of worn out, likely well played, and probably no lubrication. If you take a brand new one, you probably can hear that pop. Alright, sounds really good. And then on my MM1, which I don't think it was played a lot, it has still pop in there, right? So I don't want to lose my cylinder or my parts, really. You know, you can tell that the piston, slightly different style. I wanted to keep it original, so I have played magical parts. So we don't want this cylinder, all right? We don't want this piston because it has a kink in it. This cylinder is worn out also, and so that affects performance. So I'm going to say I want that cylinder with this piston to go over here, and then use the new piston to go into my MM1, so I get that nice pop. Yeah, kind of crazy. And I'm kind of lucky that I'm able to do those parts. So this little guy over here, I'm not really worried if it runs a little bit slower because it's not doing much as a static engine. But I want the performance to be on the steam engine, or the steamroller rather, because I want it to be able to run fast and roll. It has a lot more bits or weight to move around. So I want the best possible cylinder and piston. The next thing is that this little guy right here, let's see if I can get closer. It has little notches right here. And what that does is allow you to set the speed. And I had to do a little bending right here because it really wouldn't notch in. So if we come up here and look at the engine up here, see if I can come in. You can just see these little lines, right? Slow speed, fast speed, right? So now let's go ahead and put this back together. It's important to use lubrication. And this lubrication is actually from a different brand of steam engine, Welsco, right? I love this stuff. All right, so that's back together. Here's the other side. So now when I move my lever, there's a bit of force. And maybe you can hear it click. Do not know. All right. So you can probably tell there's a lot of paint marks, a lot of work bending this thing around trying to get this straight, because this really has to be, you know, when it was factory, perfectly straight against the cylinder to allow maximum steam to come from this middle pipe, and then depending on what direction is going, forward to the top, reverse to the bottom to let the steam out. If this right here gets bent, either at the top or all around, then you'll have performance problems. I also had a problem right in here because of all the bending and smushing. There was a small leak. I cheated here and used Gorilla Glue gel, which I've used in other steam engines, to seal that up, right? So as far as I know, I'm not getting any horrible losses of steam through leaks, though to be honest, this part right here is not factory straight, but it's straight enough to where it will run. It was also missing the steering rod. This is brand new, also ordered from the UK. And I'll put in the in my description some links to some various places that you can get parts from. I've been ordering from a couple of different locations on the internet. All right, Well, the next one's going to be steaming her up and see how well she runs.